Right, well, Warrington now, 40 minutes in which they can rescue their ambitions, because it has not been the best 40 from them, and I just wonder what was being said in that dressing room at half-time. Chris Hicks with the kick-off. Huddersfield, they have lost 3 times to Warrington this year, but once by 1 point, and in Cardiff by 2, when Warrington came back from a similar deficit to this. But they don't look like a team that is going to allow lightning to strike 3 times.
I think it's spot on, and mainly due to the fact that Huddersfield arrived here. They set their stalls out, the forwards trundled down the middle, and then the Giants have continually gone to the left-hand defensive area. They really have hit Matt King, using Wild out wide there, and they've been getting over the advantage line. This is fully deserved from the Giants. They played well.
Here is Thorman on the last tackle. The kick downfield will be collected by Riley eventually. Half-time news from Bill.
And it's not good news for the Warrington Wolves, because it looks as though Adrian Morley isn't going to be able to come back. Be very surprised if he does. He came out after the half-time break and just had a bit of a warm-up on the sidelines, returned to the dugout area and just shook his head, looked at the physio and shook his head. And it's this side pull. It's the very first tackle of the game. He pulled a muscle in his side. It's causing him a lot of pain, and he's had anti-inflammatories, but well, as I say, it's touch and go for Morley, and it's touch and go for the Warrington Wolves as well. James Lowe's not a very happy coach at half-time.
Sure he isn't, and what we should also remember is that a draw will do for Warrington. A draw would do. It would at least mean they don't have to go to Perpignan, and it would also, I think, mean that they would overtake Wigan and go into 4th place in the table. It really is slide rule time, the last 40 minutes of the regular campaign. That's 3 tackles gone for Warrington here, and Clark is the dummy half. He finds Monaghan, who finds Gleeson, who in turn gets it wide, and here is Matt King. Matt King is being pushed towards the sideline. Gleeson again for Warrington. Now Monaghan. Oh, and there's a collision there off the ball, and Matty Blythe has gone down. This is Westwood. They have the man on the overlap. Griggs can't get the ball away though to Riley. That's the last tackle. And Matty Blythe in all sorts of strife in centre field as Monaghan gives it to Clark, who slides the kick in, and that was so easy for Hodgson.
Well, not only that, no one was aware that it was the last kick. Okay, Monaghan had to offload to Clark, the hooker. But when the kick went in, there was just, and now they're being caught. No, he's just stopped play because Braycheck puts under pressure here.
Matty Blythe, it is. He got a right
Blythe,
in the ribs, of Stuart Jones.
And that has been.
And this is Morley's first tackle of the match. Well, no wonder he felt that. There were 3 there.
Yeah,
and
they bounced
pushed
him
all the way back.
Yeah.
Second tackle.
And maybe not just the impact, but the mere fact that they stretched the body.
One move.
Probably popped the cartilage, rib cartilage, or well, they do say it's around the back area.
Well, James Graham took a bit of a clatter last night, didn't he, against Wigan, and we were a bit concerned about him. You would imagine that Graham and Morley might well form part of the England front row in the World Cup. There is, of course, great concern every time an England international goes down injured. That's a heck of a kick. That is a heck of a... That's a 40-20. That's a 40-20. A magnificent kick from Thorman. Wonderful, wonderful effort this. 40-20 it is.
And the way, and rightly so, he gets congratulated because he was put under pressure. He sidestepped off the left foot, and that is outstanding. And the touch judge, unlike last night, gets it right. He really is happy with it. More pressure. And they'll just trundle it down, will the Giants. They know that they've got this game in the bag. Ooh. Which is there was a problem there for Robinson, was it? Has he pulled something?
No, he seems to be okay, but he certainly didn't have control of the ball properly, that is for sure. It was a bit of a fumble by him, but he managed to hang on to it. This is Ryan Hudson. Now Robinson again. This time he catches it cleanly. Gives the ball to Brown. He steps away. Loops a pass out wide to Martin Aspinwall. Warrington are hanging back in defence. Here is Thorman. Thorman will slide this kick through. Lawrence is after this. Oh, and Riley is there, and Riley tidies up, but it's a goal line dropout coming up again. And it's the third one that Huddersfield have forced.
They really have applied the pressure to this winger Riley, and full credit to him. I don't know how much he learned for this particular game, but he really needs a bonus, because he time and time again has just prevented them, and that's not a bad kick-off. What's the chase like? See how easy the Giants are just bursting that.
Blythe all over the top of Griffin, and another penalty that Warrington have conceded.
Time and time again. I mean, I think it was 14 missed tackles by the Wolves in the first half. And when you add to that the amount of half breaks that the Giants have produced, has given them the opportunity to then offload. The support play's been good. It's been a nightmare for this fella, James Lowes.
Interestingly here, Huddersfield are electing to kick for goal with this penalty. James Lowes knows that season must be like sand that's running through his fingers at the moment. Thorman has kicked well today, and of course if he gets this, it means that Warrington, I think my maths are correct this time, they're not very good, I must say, but I think this is right. I think Warrington will have to score 4 times.
They would have to score 4 times, Eddie, as Chris Thorman comes in and hits the ball, and that looks like it's going to be a goal, yes.
It is.
They will have to score 4 times, and that means catch-up. Even as early in the second half as we are, that means they now have to start to throw the ball around. They've got to get themselves in the game. They've got to find some enthusiasm from somewhere. They've got to find it, and the only way to find it really is when you've got the football.
They've looked very flat, haven't they?
Well, they have looked flat, and you know it's a bit of a lesson for Jimmy Lowes too. We just had him on the screen before. He's an inexperienced coach. You get confronted with this, and it's very, very difficult, you know, to change things.
There's a knock-on though from the kick-off, and I think it's a knock-on by Huddersfield. This will be head and feed to Warrington.
Yeah, came off Brown's fingertips, then finished.
It was good work by Matt King, to be fair to him.
Yeah, put him under pressure.
He contested the ball with Brown, and there's the knock-on. One thing we should remember about Warrington, the likes of Reardon, Greers, Morley still off today, Rahihi off today, the 2 Anderson brothers, Paul Johnson, Steve Pickersgill, all absent. This is Griggs. Gleeson, Westwood. Can Warrington begin the recovery? But Huddersfield tonight, magnificent so far. For 47.5 minutes, they have been outstanding. Gleeson delaying the pass, getting out of the trouble there, giving it then to Matty Blythe, and he's clawed down.
Good work by Michael Lawrence there, just pulls him down alongside with Thorman.
Clark backing himself, John Clark, and so close. Be interesting to see what happens if Warrington score here. Gleeson called for that and got it. Here is Monaghan. Now they have men over here, and one of them is King, and King gets over for Warrington in the corner. Now King used his strength then. It's a mooted celebration around the Halliwell Jones Stadium, because they know that it is still a very, very uphill climb. But Matt King gets over for the try, and that is Matt King's 11th of the season. It's 8 tries now under James Lowes.
Well, Sean McRae pinpointed the fact that Warrington really are in a hole. They've got nothing to lose in regards to giving him plenty of air, and that is exactly what they've done. There's a good build-up, good finish by King. Hasn't had the best games over the past few weeks, and I must say that he's repaid them with that touchdown.
It was appropriate though that Matt King scored the try that may just have got Warrington back into this game, because he was the player who contested the short kickoff, forced error from Brown, and won the ball back for his own team.
Indeed so, and if Chris Hicks can kick this, it'll be a little shot in the arm for Warrington, but they still nonetheless will have to score 3 times. Difficult kick for him. 5th on the Super League point chart. 14th game in a row that he's playing at full-back because of the injury this year to Stuart Reardon. Hicks, though, has pulled the kick the wrong side of the posts.
Well,
10 points to 26.
In some way, it will lift their confidence, and certainly for this chap, who, as we mentioned early, he put a lot of pressure on Brown to be able to get the possession from the scrum. It's a good combination. Utilised it there. Hicks coming into the line, and he just went on the right angle, did the big fella.
Well, Matt King, he scored a try in last year's NRL Grand Final, and he had 4 seasons at the Melbourne Storm. He was their standout star. The entire Super League was queuing up for his signature. Warrington got him, and I'm sure that he and the club here will be hoping it will be a little better from him in 2009. The season is not yet over, though, of course, for Warrington. They will be going forward to the playoffs. Half an hour to go, and they have half an hour to make sure that they get a home tie in the playoffs. It all depends what's happening at the Jungle, and it's 10-all at half-time, and I understand it's still 10-all at the Jungle as far as we are aware. King clattered to the ground this time by Darryl Griffin. Griffin again working hard, as was Ryan Hudson then. Clark come down the short side.
Pretty strong defence. It's been throughout this game as well. Is the one side that have been eager is certainly in the light outfit. Giants have worked as a unit.
And that's Shane Elford for Huddersfield. Would run from Aspinwall, away from Parker, but couldn't get away from the next 3 in. Robinson directing the traffic at dummy half. Here is Kermond.
Well, they're going to be very important for the Huddersfield side as this game progresses, is the combination of Thorman and Luke Robinson. Their kicking game alone, with a pretty convincing lead, they've got to make sure that they can just peg them back, and they've come up with an error.
They have. It's a knock-on, first knock-on. Not the best from Ryan Hudson.
And they didn't need it. I'll just make the point that they don't have to force the football. All they had to do was kick and deep, because their kick and chase has been outstanding.
Adrian Morley off the field for Warrington as they prepare to feed this scrum, and he hasn't missed a game all year for the Warrington Wolves. Be a big blow to them. They're missing him. They're missing the skipper tonight. They're missing Lee Breers as well. There's Morley and there is Breers, and they don't cut a particularly happy figure, do they? Westwood plays the ball to Clark. Here is Cooper. Clark again. Supply to Briggs. But,
good hit from Hudson, wasn't it? Got right under the ball carrying arm.
Briggs looking to try and make amends. Here's Lawrence.
Well, Paul Anderson, the Giants coach, will get the message out, say, hey, come on, we don't have to keep this ball alive, we just have got to get field position. Tangled up with the bootlaces.
Crabtree drive into him very quickly.
Hard man to put down.
Tough man to put to the deck. 6'7" and rising is Earl Crabtree. Good hit by Westwood.
Well, that's the sort of defence that really do lift aside, and he's tried his damnedest as well as Westwood.
That's a great kick from Robinson, turns Lee Penny around. The chase is excellent. The Kevin Penny, for goodness sake. I'm just going to call him Penny from now on. And one of these days the penny might drop.
I was waiting for it. Well, these little infringements from the Giants. It was high from Thorman. Right underneath the chin. Oh, it saved it.
Not finding touch.
That is a sin.
A sin.
Yeah. You build your confidence, you get the penalty, you score the try from King, you think you're going to be into it. That was wonderful stuff, wasn't it?
He did well there, Hodgson.
Unbelievable.
Well, the thing is too, Steve-O, in the last 5 minutes, Warrington have probably had 4 opportunities to build pressure. They've scored off one of those. But they need to, when you're behind by 26 points to 10, you need to maximise those opportunities. You need to take them. At least get in a situation where you can get some repeat sets or make Huddersfield come off their own line and create some fatigue factor. At the moment, they're only creating them for themselves.
That's 4 tackles gone for Huddersfield here. Raleigh struggles to get to his feet, plays the ball. And here is Hudson. Now infield it goes to Thorman. Thorman gives it back to Raleigh.
It's set up for the kick on the last.
Last tackle here. It's with Robinson. Now it's with Brown. Brown gives it to Hodgson. They've gone for the power play. And Simon Griggs saw to it. That power play was going nowhere. But look where Warrington get possession. 10 metres from their own line. And they've got a lot of work to do to get up the other end of the field.
Again, I'm not so sure that the Giants are utilising the right options. There's a man there that Martin Gleeson playing in stand-off position tonight. He's got the skills and the ability to maybe drag them back into it, but it really is. It's surprising me that the Giants are not utilising the kick. They're trying to score. I mean, a power play at that point. 26-10 in front.
No, that's a positive though for Warrington. They've had 4 carries, they've made 10 metres on all 4 of those, and they haven't done that very often in this match so far. They get a penalty. Some positive there, I think, now that they've been able to go forward far stronger.
Marcus not standing square, and this time Michael Monaghan makes sure that they find touch. And Riley takes the little tap himself to restart the game.
Nearly caught them napping. Good option.
Clark back to Monaghan. There is Matty Blythe.
He took the ball, stood still though. I know he's going to be utilised as a dummy runner or a decoy, but let's run onto it from some point.
Braychek loses it. Big hit. Big hit in defence by the Huddersfield Giants.
Put that down as another opportunity.
Oh. Crabtree just minced him. Boom. Oh, put him in the blender and turn the electricity on. Bang.
It was great defence, Steve-O, but again, I make the point, there's another opportunity gone, and that's been the problem. Although here's another one come for them.
There is one coming for them here, but Lee Mitchell is very lucky here because I'm sure he, as he's getting up, his heel knocks this out of Michael Lawrence's grasp. Watch this.
Certainly looks that way. And did you see the eyes on Mr. Lawrence?
He was actually on the floor on his backside, and he's trying to get up and play the ball.
You're not allowed to do that. You've got to regain your feet first. So, well, the opportunities are there for the home side.
Can they take them?
One move!
That was Matt King picking that ball up from the base of the scrum. Here is Clark.
2 clear! Go.
Clark again. Monaghan and King.
3, get up, guys!
3 tackles gone. Monaghan waits. Paul Wood. Gleeson. Oh. It might have drifted forward, but they keep going. Braychek. Hicks, great defence from Elford.
Was it ever? You can see there that Griggs had the overlap on the outside. He's gone on that blind side, and again Lawrence working overtime.
Great prospect, Lawrence at 18. Here is Monaghan. Monaghan with the kick, looking for Penny. Penny gets it! I think this could be a try for Kevin Penny.
He's certainly got higher than anyone else. Has he got it down? That is the big question. That's what will be addressed by Steve Ganson. He's onside. They'll go to see on a wide shot, but I feel that Penny is onside. He definitely gets higher than anyone else. That's okay. Watch him jump. He takes it. Does he get it down correctly? Yes, he does. And the Wolves, who showed no teeth in the first half, are starting to show a bit of bite. This will be confirmation.
Penny waits and so does the Warrington Stadium. The try is given. Kevin Penny missed the game at Castleford. 3 tries in the 2 against Huddersfield last year. He hasn't scored until that moment in the last 5. Well, it's another difficult conversion attempt coming up for Chris Hicks, but Warrington clawing their way back.
Good option. Halfback Michael Monaghan gave it plenty of air. That was well taken.
Great leap, wasn't it?
Was it ever? Noted for his speed, and actually not noted too much for his ability to get hold of the high ball, but he did on that occasion.
And there are people who want to turn the tries from a kick into a 2-point reward, as we heard on Boots and All on Wednesday. I tell you what, Warrington wish that that was 6, never mind 4. Can Chris Hicks make it so? Can this time. 16 to Warrington, 26 to Huddersfield. It's getting tight again.
Paul Anderson has got to get the message out to both Thorman and Robinson, the 2 halfbacks. You've got the ability to have a short kick, long kick. You've got to start turning Warrington around, which they did effectively in the first half. Look at that.
Castleford are leading against Bradford now, 16-10. And even with that, Bradford now have to score twice in that match at the Jungle in the last quarter of an hour to actually make a move in the table. If it stays like it is now, it's as you were. Or even if Bradford get a draw out of that, it stays as you were. Bradford have got to win at the Jungle, irrespective of what happens here now. But if Warrington can claim a point, they claim 4th. We've never had a finish like this, have we? Going down to the last quarter of an hour, 20 minutes of the weekly rounds, we still don't know who's 4th, 5th and 6th.
And I must say, Eddie, that it's been great to see, because there were many who criticised the fact that they stopped the relegation and the promotion.
Yeah, they said they'd have nothing to play for.
They said there's nothing to play for, it'd be a waste of time, no one to go and see it. We've got a very good crowd here. Huddersfield have got nothing to say in the playoff situation. Oh, they've come up with an error. That's a play on and they're in trouble.
They are. This is Aspinwall. Penny misses him. And Aspinwall just hangs on to the ball and dies with it. It's a 0 tackle. There's 6 more to go from here. Robinson. Here is Mason. He was impressive early, Keith Mason. Last quarter of the match. Can Huddersfield snuff out the chance of a Warrington revival? Foreman pops the ball up. Jones, Wood and Blythe rather combined to bring him down. Fayumu saw that Blythe was struggling, went for the line, down he goes. 3 tackles remaining. Foreman waits. Warrington supporters holding their breath. It's with Robinson. Back on the inside to the big man Crabtree. Good hit on him in defence. Important tackle that. Fayumu! He's lost the ball. He lost the ball.
And Braycheck got to it. What if he's lost the ball? Surely it should have been a strong down.
He kicked it for himself and attempted to kick it in goal.
Has he just got a boot to it? Yeah, you're right. Braycheck did very well indeed.
Play, okay.
An opportunity gone. Why the hooker David Famu went for the kick when it's monotonous, but when you've got 2 great kickers out there and they're giving it to someone else.
Here's Matt King. Penny's outside him. And King, that's fantastic defence. His knee was on the line. Fantastic defence from Wild.
He's had a big game, hasn't he? Stephen Wild, so effective in the first half. And look at this. That could just about finish it. And that's all it does. Just a whitewash. Get out.
18 minutes to go. 10 points the difference.
And that's the second occasion in their set of 6, or attempted set of 6, that the Wolves have failed to get over the halfway line and also lost possession.
Good work from Kevin Brown. He went to go to the left-hand side from that scrum and then went through the forwards who were breaking up, nearly caught Warrington cold. Oh, that was high from Westwood. It was on the shoulder, says the referee. Huddersfield appealing for the penalty.
Certainly looked high. Mason has every right to look to the official and the guys who came at him.
There's Crabtree. Fayumu.
That's all they have to do.
Robinson.
Just trundle it forward.
Rally. Parker gets to him after Wood missed him.
Just keep the pressure on.
Fayumu again. Here is Thorman. Thorman gives it wide. It's Michael Lawrence. It's a penalty against Huddersfield. It's for obstruction. Well, it just shows you they don't just give them in the act of scoring a try.
Well, that was nothing really, wasn't it? I mean, it virtually stopped.
David Hodgson made contact, didn't he, with Martin Gleeson, and that's why the penalty was given. And it's been amazing, you know, in the last 5 or 6 minutes, Huddersfield have almost repeatedly sent invitations here now to Warrington to get back into this game and probably resurrect their hopes for 2008, because the loss here today would mean it very difficult for them to go into the playoffs on the back of any real confidence. But still, with over 15 minutes to go, 2 scores behind, they're still in this game, Eddie.
They are indeed. And that's a great run from Hicks, but he's lost it. He's saying it was taken out of his grasp illegally, but I don't know whether it was.
It's a nice dummy.
It's a loose carry, said Ben Thaler, and he's spot on.
And again, Warrington have they've coughed up possession.
Look at that stat, though.
Oh, 20. You can't afford that. But as I say, there were 14 in the first half, so at least it's only 6 so far. I know we've still got a long way to go.
This is Kevin Brown. Injury news from Bill.
Groans down here on the sideline from the Warrington supporters around me. No sign of the promised comeback here. No sign of the comeback from Paul Rauhi either. He's been off the field for a while. He did have a groin problem going into this game. They might be just keeping him back, but what they're keeping him back for is the big question now.
They'll be keeping him back for next week. No more damage. At least they know they're in a playoff, but they don't know where yet. Here is Crabtree. At the moment, they're going to Wigan. And at the moment, Bradford are going to the south of France. This is Fayumu, this is Jones and Lawrence. He managed to pick it out of the air.
What are they doing?
Wait!
The Giants are not behind, they're in front. Sean McRae, surely as a coach should be sending the message out, just apply the pressure. That's what he was so effective the first half, and then they're just completely allowing Warrington time and time. He must be furious, Paul Anderson.
I think he's furious with that decision by the referee, Ben Thaler, actually.
Well, I think they've had a little look at the clock and the scoreboard, to be honest, Huddersfield. I think they've just been prepared to go through the motions for the last 10 minutes. You know, they sort of want the season to finish. They want to finish on a high. They want to win this football game. But I think they felt when it got to 26-4 in front, you know, that they'd done enough. And then Warrington have been able to come back at them, but just, you know, both sides are just squandering opportunities. There's been too much play between the 20-metre lines of each team and not enough play inside the 20 metres.
Decent crowd in, by the way, at the Jungle, we're being told, nudging 9,000 or thereabouts. So, who said that this promotion, relegation and lack of it would be a big flop? Bradford with lots and lots to fight for, of course, at the Jungle against Castleford, as Warrington have here, and it's a fairly healthy crowd here too, and Huddersfield have travelled in good numbers. This is Monaghan. He'll hoist it up and under. Penny and King are looking for this. It's got snow on it. Oh, and it's picked up by Penny.
I'll be back to 6.
Back to 0. Penny doing brilliantly well then. And they want to get on with it, and now they have the penalty, Warrington.
Take the tap and get for it.
Well, everyone, it's Clark, who's got the try. Ben Thaler will give this. John Clark gets the try. Adrian Morley leading the applause. I was about to say, not one of the Huddersfield players were onside. They were all the wrong side of the whitewash. But John Clark saw that they were hanging around. Quick thinking from the hooker. And he's trying to turn a disastrous day into a happy day.
Well, what the Giants should have been doing is exactly this. Utilising the kick, Michael Monaghan, it was enormous. A big error there, and they have come up trumps. Back to 6, they messed around, they didn't get off Penny, and from the resulting tap, he just spun around. Good work from the hooker, plonks it down, and we got a game on our hands.
You know, I think we should give a lot of credit to Rob Parker on that play, Eddie. He may have done a simple run to take some pressure, but just look, what 3 or almost 4 of the Huddersfield players concentrate their effort on a millisecond to this side of the field, and it's just that gap that allows Clark to get through and get the ball down. Massive effort there by Parker.
You're
John
right,
Clark
Phil.
with the try, though. Crucial try in the win against Leeds here last month from John Clark. And now Chris Hicks. He's checked the way the wind's blowing. He's plucked a few pieces of grass off the deck and seen where the wind is blowing right now. And is the wind blowing at his back to get them back into this match? It certainly is. No! He's missed it. Well, that's 2 missed kicks from Chris Hicks tonight. At 26-20, Huddersfield still lead.
Remember, the draw will be sufficient. There's still 6 points adrift. The Giants are taking their time. They're trying to conserve their energy.
Referee must hold the clock on, surely.
Well, there's the try scorer, the man that I must say has worked overtime in the second half to try to lift the spirits. He looks ripped and battered.
16 all at Castleford and Bradford. A point will do for Warrington. At the moment, Bradford hanging on to a point at the Jungle. They're a little bit ahead of us. 20 points to 26 here. Warrington no. A point will do.
Well, if they lose this, Huddersfield have only themselves to blame. They had the game in the bag, and they reverted to trying to run the football, scored extra tries instead of just applying the pressure with a good kicking game. The kick and chase in the first half just completely blitzed the Warrington side.
Here come Warrington with Gleeson. Steps through one challenge, Gleeson can't get away from the next couple in. That's the last one. This set of 6, Clark. Monaghan slides the kick in behind the defenders. Well picked up though over on that far side by Elford. Braycheck comes in with a tackle. Now Warrington will hunt the mistake, and Monaghan was hurt in getting that kick away.
Going to up the tempo and defence now of Warrington.
Fayumu for Huddersfield.
You just get the impression now that the Giants, they're just hanging on.
They're giving their all, they really have. They have given their all. It was theirs to lose at half-time. And now we've got a real ball game on our hands in the last 10 minutes. 6 points is the difference. This is Crabtree.
Got through a lot of work, the big fella. And all of a sudden, the enthusiasm, the eagerness has come back into the Wolves' defensive line.
Robinson, charge down, oh, it's going to be play on, and here goes Stephen Wild. Robinson in support, they've got 2 men on the Robinson, and he's got the play inside to Fayumu, and Fayumu goes in behind the sticks for Huddersfield, and David Fayumu.
You are quick.
Well, he hasn't given it yet. Touch judge on this side has just not gone to the usual place when there's no problems, which is the corner. Looking for offside, looking for knock-ons as well, we understand.
Now then, is it a charge down, or has he made any attempt? I think he just turns his back.
Yeah, but after this it comes off Matt King. Bump there.
Yeah, that's it, that's play on. King
Was Stephen Wilder in front of the kicker when he first hits the ball?
There's a few options.
They're looking at the grounding. That is the hint that this is going to be given.
Give it.
David Fayumu waits. I think the Warrington fans know that this is a try for Huddersfield. First try for Huddersfield. What a night to get it. And Huddersfield are going to head into the winter now with a famous victory behind them here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, and no wonder they're biting the nails on the terraces. They don't know where they're going next week in the playoffs. It's in Bradford's hands suddenly. If Bradford could sneak a win, Warrington are off to France. At the moment, Warrington are going to Wigan. I don't think they're going to be here, that is for sure.
What an amazing finish to the Super League rounds.
Foreman adds the extras. 20 points to 32.
Amazing. The last 5 attempts that the Giants have had possession of the football, they failed to put a kick in. The first time they do, they just get the lucky bounce.
Bounced off Braychek's back in the end, didn't it?
Yep, and King couldn't put it in.
I thought Robinson had taken the wrong option there, but he knows better than us.
Oh, it was fine play.
Another short kick-off from Warrington to try and get this possession back. Crabtree, though, he makes sure there was no chance this time.
It was also a good play for Stephen Wild. To me, it was Stephen Wild that really just set the Giants on their way to what should be a victory now. It's going to take something very special for Warrington to come back with not many minutes remaining on the clock.
This is Mason. Good defence, though, from Warrington there. But maybe a bit too late, perhaps. 8 to go. Rally.
The thing is,
Running again.
Sorry, the thing is, it's not too late if you've got the football. The problem is they can't get their hands on the ball. They're going to get an opportunity now. They're really going to have to play expansive rugby league, keep the ball alive. They're going to have to take a lot of risks now. They could score 2 converted tries. They get the draw.
Yes.
That's not impossible in 8 minutes.
No, it isn't. But on the evidence of what we've seen for 72 minutes, Sean, it's unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely.
Well, at least the Giants have got back to some sort of shape. We saw there the good kick and chase game coming back into their play. It's they're finding it very difficult to Warrington to get anywhere near the halfway line. They've offloaded.
Yeah, well, you have to. They've got to take risks now. Here goes Mike Cooper up the middle. That's the 4th, though. They're still 44 metres and more away from the Giants line. Clark, Gleeson gets the ball away to Monaghan. Warrington are standing round. Flipped back into the arms there of Lee Mitchell.
Well, will it be another high kick from Monaghan? No, it's Clark going on his own into the corner. It's not a bad one either.
Penny to chase it. Hodgson does well. Hodgson goes to ground. Great run here from Aspinwall, and it's Stephen Wild. Parker. Oh,
why did he have to force it
forward? Parker did well for Warrington then.
Should have gone to ground. He's had a great game as Stephen Wild, but why on earth he wanted to force that? Only 12 points to the advantage. He raises his arm and says, sorry fellas, but just tension got the better of me.
Well, look, we're just trying to keep tabs on what's happening here and what's happening at the Jungle right now. Let's take a look at how this is standing just now, because we believe it's in Bradford's hands at the Jungle, and Rod Studd's waiting to talk to us on the line. Rod, what's the news from over there?
Well, you've joined us here, Eddie, at a moment of supreme drama, because Ian Smith has awarded Bradford a penalty bang in front of the post with the clock ticking down to 40 seconds left in this game. It's all square at the moment at 16-all. Kadilala having levelled it up for Bradford, and Harris converted from the touchline. And Harris has got a kick here that I think will take his team to Wigan as opposed to France. And Justin Harris has converted the simplest of penalty chances, but anything is simple in that situation. He's nodded it over from 20 yards out, right in front of the post. Ian Smith is public enemy number 1 of the Jungle, but that should just about be enough, Eddie, to take Bradford off a place in the table unless Warrington have a late trick up their sleeve.
Drama all the way, and just at the right moment we went to the Jungle. Thanks, Rod. Fantastic stuff that for Bradford. 18 points to 16 they lead there, which means at the moment Warrington are down in 6th, Bradford are 5th. Bradford are going to go to Wigan in the first weekend of the playoffs, and Warrington are on their way to Catalan Dragons, which is the poison chalice really. Nobody wants to go all that way down there, but Warrington look like they might have to.
I think you're spot on, Eddie. They'll be booking the flights to go down to the south of France, and that just about confirms it.
That
as far
just
as I'm
sums it up,
concerned,
doesn't it?
It has not been a good showing. Okay, they showed a lot of resolution to try to fight back, but you can see there that Griggs couldn't take control of it.
It looks like Warrington are heading to the south of France. They will go down with 4 straight defeats behind them, and the last time they were there in the south of France, Warrington were beaten by 52 points to 14.
Well, to be fair, on the first half showing, and this will be a penalty.
And this will be 2 points, and Huddersfield will just eat up the clock.
Yeah.
And Huddersfield are going home tonight with arguably one of their best performances of the season behind them.
Spot on. They'll be happy. He won't be. James Lowe's has got a lot of problems.
That is the way it looks as though it's going to finish. It's full time at Castleford. So 16-18, Bradford have snatched the victory with that penalty from Yistin Harris under the sticks. Warrington have got 4 minutes remaining, and they've got to score 3 times. Because if this is going to sail over, and I think it is from Chris Thorman, they can't get the draw.
Well, he won't worry even if he misses it. He knows he's got enough power to make sure it goes over the dead in goal line. So therefore it will be a dropout if he misses this attempt for 2 points.
What an afternoon and an evening of drama. We had one last night with the draw at Knowsley Road, and here we are now, closing stages of the weekly rounds. He's kicked the goal, and Warrington are on their way to the south of France next week with the 4 defeats behind them. And you wouldn't bank on them, Sean McRae, to make any impact down there on this showing.
Well, it will take a remarkable turnaround. They're going to do a lot of work in a week, and they've got to rely on some players. Will Adrian Morley be fit? Will Paul Rahihi be fit? Is anybody else coming back? They'll take some inexperienced players there, and they'll get a lot of experience playing playoff rugby league. But the way that the Catalan Dragons have played this year, you'd be a brave person to tip against them.
You know, I was talking to a couple of Wigan players after the defeat by Leeds a few weeks ago. I won't name them, I will save their embarrassment. They absolutely thought they were going to Perpignan. They did not believe in their heart of hearts that they could make 4. But look what happened last night. Look what's happened tonight. It's all turned round in the last weekend.
Well, it sure has, Eddie, and I think it's been a terrific competition. We've spoken about being non-relegation year, and we've seen sides like Castleford again have obviously put up a great performance tonight against Bradford, and seemingly a little bit unlucky. But Huddersfield are going to finish the season with a victory.
They are, and they're not finished yet. They might be in for more points here because Riley has missed that, and that's Danny Kermond.
Beautiful kick through.
And the silence around this ground is just unbelievable. And they're all on the way home, the Warrington fans.
Well, they really were booing at half-time. They were completely outplayed by a giant tower. It was got back into the swing of things. They lost the shape slightly.
They're not done yet. They are not done, Huddersfield. That's Darryl Griffin.
Hudson will like to finish with the try if he could. He's got it. The offload.
Thorman Lawrence to the ground off Hodgson, but Hodgson ferries it out to Elford. And Elford gives it back to Hodgson. Where's the defence?
Oh, there's a Warrington player down. Looks as in a lot of trouble as well.
A horrible feeling it might be. No, it's not Monaghan. He's there. Here is Brown. Well, there was an obstruction then, certainly. Here is Stephen Wild, and that is the end of Stephen Wild's Huddersfield career, and he has picked up 2 tries tonight. Absolutely magnificent Stephen Wild has been. Sensational have Huddersfield been, and Warrington will go into the playoffs 4 defeats behind them, confidence low, and you would not put a penny on them getting anywhere near Old Trafford.
It's been a wonderful tactical victory
it's
for
Rob Parker, who is hurt.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble as well, but full credit to Paul Anderson. The tactics of attacking down on the side where Matt King's been in the centre, and they plied it through. Okay, wasn't a bit of obstruction there either way. King was in no man's land, and Stephen Wild, he caps a fine performance with his second try. Sheer strength, back to his best. That does it. All celebration, all smiles.
And Stuart Jones and Ryan Hudson say farewell to Huddersfield. Stephen Wild doesn't, of course. He is well and truly in the picture for 2009 and beyond. And Stephen Wild, with the try, sends those other two players off in the finest possible mood. And Huddersfield, 38-20, they have won this, and they have won it with style, with panache. And there, I think, is a possible man of the match, Stephen Wild. He's going nowhere, and Huddersfield would be delighted about that.
Well, not only a possible man of the match, Eddie, but I'd flag his name up for a possible World Cup spot with the England team. I think he handles so many different roles. He can play in the centre, he can play at loose forward, he can play back row. He's a very powerful runner. He defends exceptionally well. He wouldn't be out of place with an England shirt on.
Absolutely not. And there he is, Stephen Wild. Huddersfield have won. Wild's try in the last minute, the end of their season. Boy, they look like the side that was on its way to the playoffs, not the Warrington Wolves. They've got all sorts of problems, injuries, loss of form, lacking in confidence, and they've got the longest trip of them all. They've gone from 4th in the table to 6th tonight, and they are on their way to the south of France to play the Catalan Dragons next Saturday. Stephen Wild is the man of the match. Bill's got his champagne, and it's well deserved, Bill, isn't it?
It certainly is. Congratulations, Stevenson, on a man of the match performance. To come up with a performance like this in the last day of the season, regular season, sums up Huddersfield's season, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been an up and down season for us, and we've had a bit of pressure off us to cover tonight. Just a bit of pride to play for, and we'd have played like this, from halfway through the season, we'd have been in the playoffs. But with some lads leaving after this year, and we've sent them off on an eye.
Do you think that was the difference? I mean, you didn't have, as you say, any pressure on your back. Warrington really were under pressure, and I think it showed.
Yeah, a few lads playing for pride, personally, and a couple of others who's not played that well this year, and a couple of looking for the England squad, put their hand up and hopefully been seen tonight.
Well, yeah, it's not about, from a personal point of view, not a bad time to come up with a performance like that. Tony Smith looking out.
Yeah, so there's a few of us who's been looking for a performance like that, and that's all we can do really end this season, and hopefully come back stronger next year.
Well, that's it. I mean, what you can think about now is next season. Nathan Brown, what might happen for the Giants next year? Yeah,
we've said it all year. A few more players, key players we'd have had in the team, and hopefully we could turn it around and get in that top 6 again, and push for the playoffs.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Before you go, you get £100 from Engage to give to a charity of your choice. Any ideas?
The Mike Gregg Trust, please.
Well done.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Fantastic effort from Stephen Wild. Brilliant performance from the Huddersfield Giants. There it is. Warrington 20, Huddersfield 38. Warrington plummet down the table to 6th spot.